Gran Colombia. Have you ever heard of that? It was a super state in Latin America. It was a time when Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, and Panama were united in one country. And guess what? This country existed short, and that makes it a short-lived state. And we have to cover it in the Short-Lived States episode series. In this video, we're going to talk about Gran Colombia. Keep watching. Now, the origins of this state can be found in 1808, when the French troops of Napoleon Bonaparte invaded the Iberian Peninsula, today's Spain and Portugal. They seized control over the area, so who was going to govern the Spanish overseas territories? Now, there was already a lot of dissatisfaction within these Spanish colonies, so as a result, protests broke out within the overseas colonies, first demanding autonomy and later full independence. What is today Colombia was back then in the Viceroyalty of New Granada, today's Ecuador, Colombia, Venezuela, and Panama. Now, South Americans of Spanish descent, they were not treated as equals to the Spaniards that came from Spain. They wanted equal treatment. As a result, juntas were formed. These were some alternative governments that were located within the colonies as a patriotic alternative to the central rule of Spain. There were basically three groups that emerged from this within the overseas Spanish colonies. The centralists, they wanted a liberal republican order with a central government. The federalists wanted a likewise liberal republican order, but without one province ruling over the other. And then there were the royalists, or the loyalists, who were loyal to Spain. The First Republic existed from 1811 till 1816 and was basically divided against itself. This led to the emergence of two separate republics, Cundinamarca and the United Provinces. The two were united as the latter took over the first in 1815. Tense relations between the pro-republicans and the royalists remained. In the first half of the 1810s, the different provinces within the United Provinces adopted their own constitutions and declared themselves independent from Spain. The timing wasn't great, however, because by that time, Napoleon was defeated and Spain sought to seek control over their colonies again. And so, they sent a fleet to South America. In the summer of 1815, Spanish forces landed at the coastal city of Santa Marta, capturing it, and in the months after, they captured city after city. Spanish military general Pablo Morillo executed the Régimen del Toro, or the Reign of Terror, against American citizens. This was also in response to the harrowing military campaigns against the royalists executed by Simón Bolívar. But at the end, the Spanish terror played in favor of Bolívar, because many inhabitants went over to the side of Bolívar. Also, guerrilla groups emerged to fight against Morillo's army. Yet, due to some military defeats, Bolívar fled to Jamaica. He returned in the second half of the 1810s and achieved victories over the Spanish forces as he took key cities, among which Santa Fe, the current Colombian capital, Bogotá. His Congress issued a new series of laws, and the first law read as follows. The republics of Venezuela and of New Granada are, from this day forward, united as one under the glorious title of the Republic of Colombia. Gran Colombia was born. The territory was divided into three large departments: Venezuela, Quito, and Cundinamarca, with their respective capitals Caracas, Quito, and Bogotá, former Santa Fe. It encompassed the modern-day nations of Colombia, Ecuador, Panama, and Venezuela. Bolívar was to become the president, and Bogotá the capital of the whole of the nation. War did not stop till the mid-1820s as Bolívar continued with his military campaigns to pacify the whole region. Despite the upheaval, the population put in the effort to build their new nation. Colombians nevertheless created the conditions that allowed for the founding of universities, and they constructed institutions of government and administration. Later they established steamship navigation of the Magdalena River and built railroads, schools, and roads. Colombians also initiated trade and industry, hired foreign experts and advisors, and built their own printing presses. Yet, cracks began to emerge. Bolívar got into fierce disagreements with his vice president, Francisco de Paula Santander, and two different factions emerged. They tried to set aside their difference during a convention, but eventually the pro-Bolívar faction walked out. A few months later, August 23rd, 1828, Bolívar named himself dictator. Now his opponents got more radicalized because of this. They tried to assassinate him. This failed. In March 1829, Peru declared war on Gran Colombia because of disputed territories. Bolívar had to revisit the battlefield as he had to command his forces against the Peruvian army. The war ended in somewhat of a stalemate. Bolívar returned to the capital early 1830, and Congress had adopted a new constitution. The Venezuelans had voted in favor of separation, and Ecuadorians were inclined to do the same. And with that, Gran Colombia had practically ceased to exist. Bolívar accepted his fate. He resigned and went to Santa Marta, where he lived out his final days as a broken and bitter man. There were several reasons why Gran Colombia collapsed. Bolívar's authoritarian rule, the plots aimed at undermining his authority, the conflict with Peru, various uprisings against the Colombian government, Venezuela's outright defiance of central authority in Bogotá, attempts by the Council of Ministers to institute a constitutional monarchy, widespread disapproval of the recently promulgated constitution, and notably the deployment of Venezuelan forces in Bogotá, all play pivotal roles as contributing factors. Bolívar, he passed away at the end of 1830. In April 1831, the warring parties came together to set aside their differences. Venezuela and Quito, Ecuador, officially separated, and on February 29, 1832, a new constitution was approved. And the new constitution gave birth to the Republic of New Granada. More on that later. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to learn about other shortlist states, click here. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.